then you'll know what I talk about. Good friend Bernard and I, we played around the golf. Now back nine, I had 4 sand saves in a row, which is PGA caliber golf, which I am not. So Bern goes, Sandy Lyle. No, I think you're Sandy Berger now. So that's why I chose to be called Sandy Berger. And you can refer to me as that, or depending on how this speech goes, you can refer to me a lot out of it. But I want to say good evening to everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my real name is Rob Berger, and I'm the honored father of the bride and my new son-in-law groom. And I just want to say that Vicki and I are blessed to be here today to celebrate the marriage of our daughter, Callie, and my new son-in-law, Chris. And I really do consider him a son. And before I begin my speech, so to all of you who are here today, thank you for being part of this special day. We're grateful for your love and support to celebrate the formal union and commitment that Kelly and Chris have made to each other today. And we know that many of you have traveled a significant distance to be here, and we really appreciate it. It's so good to see so many faces and getting to know more of Chris's side of the family, and I hope to do that later tonight. Again, depending on how the speech goes. But I would like to acknowledge a few people who are here today. And for me, it's a personal pleasure, but I'd like to thank my 2 sisters and their spouses, Colleen and Phil Wright, and Peggy and Mel Blacks. If you guys could just stand up. Stand up and make yourself So both Colleen and Peggy, my sisters, so one is older than me and one is younger than me. And then I got another one that's even older than Colleen, and another one that's younger than Peggy. They couldn't be here. But I really do want to thank them for making the trek all the way down from Western Canada. So thank you. It's special to us, and I'm sure it's special to you, Callie. Also, we have Vicky's brother, Dr. Greg Gravick, and his spouse, Jody, who came down from Akron, Ohio. Special to me because he's the guy that counseled me on getting new knees. They're joined by 2 of their children, Erica and Allison, and their respective boyfriends and fiancés. Allison and Michael, fiancé Michael. Erica and boyfriend Scott, which are going to try and turn into a fiancé. And they have also come down from the north to be here today. So the one thing I will say, though, is these ladies and Callie spent many years vacationing together and growing up down in Nags Head, North Carolina. And so that is extremely special that they're here celebrating that with Callie. So Vicky's cousin, Garth and Marianne Klimchuk, 2 of my favorites. They're from New York or Asheville, depending on which time of the year. And we're really glad you could join us. So good to see you guys. So, the one thing I do want to say, though, is the Breivik, the Klimchuks, and the Davidson parents, to Vicky, Greg, and Garth, established a tradition of staying connected beyond immediate family, and many laughs and good times have been shared over the years, thanks to that bond established by the parents, and now continued by the kids. And it's really special. Our kids have grown up together year after year. We had these vacations, and it's an amazing bond. All right. That was a little bit tough. I have Vicky's wonderful friend since childhood. Love her. Linda Jess.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Linda!
She's joined us from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I'll have you know that Linda and Vicky grew up 2 doors down from one another and were inseparable growing up. And we actually bought the house that Vicky's dad had built. And so I got to know them really well. But what I'll say, though, is they've been lifelong friends, And they've always been a stopover. She's always been a stopover when we've traveled back to Canada every year. And I guess what you would say, Linda, is you're actually responsible for Callie here being here today. Because Linda was instrumental in setting Vicky and I.
Yeah, I introduced her.
So my good friend and son, Chris, you can thank Linda for telling me.
Thank you very much.
We have some close friends that made it down here that we made down here when we came to the U.S. who have watched, interacted, and encouraged Callie, well, both of our kids actually, as they grew up. Susan and Adam Knight. Sorry, keep it to your mouth. Give a wave. And then Bernard and Vicky Shoemate, who just lived 3 doors down from us. And there again, the Shoemate's oldest son, only son, and my son, I mean, I think they fed off of each other. They created quite a competition for each other, so they've been successful, each of them in their own right. So those are some of the people I want to acknowledge. And also, I want to thank, and it's been a pleasure to get to meet Chris, your dad, Dwayne, and Stephanie. Obviously, you know, I love Laura. There are some people I know wanted to be here, but due to distance, age, and health, were unable to attend. And so Callie's grandmother, Jan, and Grandpa Jim, on Vicky's side, were growing up. Callie would spend a large part of the summer in Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada each year. And they also saw Callie develop into the beautiful woman that she's become. So they were sad, we are sad that they could not be here, but they send their love and congratulations. And then equivalently, Callie's other grandparents, my mom and dad, Bernice and Melberga, wanted to be here, and again, due to health and age and that, weren't able to make it, but they send their congratulations to you guys both. And finally, I want to acknowledge, Callie's Auntie Lisa and Uncle Ian. I don't know why. Anyway, they played a prominent role in both of our kids' lives, upbringing, and were constant sources of encouragement. And, you know, sadly, Uncle Ian was unable to make it, and we're even more saddened. And Auntie Lisa can't be with us. But she would really like to be here. Anyway, we miss her. I guess I am going to cry. Again, thank you all who are here today. And now on to the happy couple. And I'm guaranteed now that happened, that I'm going to cry again. But to ensure that no siblings' feelings are slighted, let me just say we're very proud of and love both of our kids, even though Michael, I'm going to talk about Callie right now. So don't get your feelings bruised. So here's a small note that really doesn't need to be said, but I'm going to speak on behalf of Vicki and I in my comments with some unique father-daughter references. But Callie, you were always and continue to bring great joy in our lives. You're incredibly bright and intelligent. You're very caring and compassionate. You're especially with little children. You've grown into a beautiful woman, both inside and out. We've been proud to watch you grow up, and even more proud of the woman you've become. And so the rest of this speech will be about what I remember and what I know. And believe me when I say, as I get older, my memory starts to fade and wane, and I know even less than what I thought I did. So I call this next part, Callie, I remember. Callie, I still remember the day you were born. I just got home from work up in Canada, and your grandma Jen was at the top of the stairs holding a watch saying, "You're on." And I said, But I just got off work. We took Mom to the hospital, and they sent us back home because your mom wasn't as far along as she was supposed to be in order to admit her. And your mom was adamant. She told the staff she didn't think that was a good idea, and she wanted to be sure that she got the good drugs to numb the pain. But home we went, as instructed, and at 11:45 p.m., your mom said, "We got to go now." I drove aggressively to the hospital. They took your mom up, and I went to the hospital admitting. I barely got back from admitting, and within 3 minutes, you were born. So Mom never got the drugs. And we were lucky to make it to the hospital. So initially, you were 3 weeks late, but then, no, she was 3 weeks late. Do we have to have a call? But once you set your mind that you were coming, there was no stopping you. And that seems to be a pattern that you have carried on in your life. You were a beautiful baby, and I knew that I would love you unconditionally for the rest of my life. Callie, I remember your smile as a toddler. It was big, beautiful, and all pudgy cheeks. It was great, and you were smiling all the time. And in fact, if you'll recall, I often teased you during middle and high school about where did that smile go? Well, I think you have found it again with Chris. Callie, I remember teaching you how to ride a bike at the Chesapeake Primary School in the bus parking lot. You would put your feet down on the road and push yourself along, trying to get your balance. And once you felt more sure of yourself, you started pedaling on your own. And I remember how proud and excited you were once you got it. You were determined that day, and this is something that also has carried you into your future. Callie, I remember your love for swimming pools. First at Grandma Jan's pool in Medicine Hat, and then each year when we went to Nag's Head with your grandparents, your uncles, aunts, cousins. You loved being in the pool incessantly. So my job and pleasure as your father was to be there in the pool with you, bonding and ensuring I created fond memories of those times. It was only natural that when your mom found a synchronized swimming club in Chesapeake that you would dedicate your efforts to it for many years. And as you got older, you became a trainer for the younger girls. Callie, I remember our synchronized swimming road trips. We're here in the U.S. People love to travel long distances on And so we would find ourselves outside of Washington or Laurel, Maryland for an overnight swim meet where the actual swimming competition lasted maybe 10 minutes in total. So as your dad, I spent a lot of time sitting and often working in the stands, only to ensure that I was there when you competed. The adventure of going on the trip, bonding with the other girls, dinners out, and the swimming like a balletic swan gave you a lot of joy. For that, I was glad to do it and be a part of it. Callie, I remember our planned father-daughter outings at Nag's Head, where we would go shopping for you wherever you wanted to go. And then afterwards, we'd finish off the day getting ice cream at Fat Boys. Those were special to me, because I know how much you enjoyed the me time. I will say that you were always conscientious about not overspending, even when I said I would go get you something, and you felt it was too expensive. You have a good understanding of need versus want, and you are frugal with your money. Something I know you got from your mom and not me. Callie, I remember taking you to school each day. And on those short trips, you had to endure your father's lessons on life, which I know at times had to be trying for you. But you sat patiently there, and we did have many opportunities to stay connected and talk about what was going on in your life. For me, those were invaluable father experiences. I also remember once you were old enough, we would plan to leave early for school, and we would go to Starbucks for coffee and breakfast. I enjoyed those outings a great deal, and has given me lasting fond memories. I know you did as well. Callie, I remember how every year you were not excited about going to school and starting a new school year. But then when the end of school year approached, how disappointed you were about that too. It made me wonder what kind of a career you would embark upon. And then you decided to settle on nursing at Radford, which was a top nursing school in Virginia. And once you were where you needed to have high grades to get into the program. I worried about that because of the way you were about school. But you did that. Callie, I remember how uncertain you were the first trip. And your mom and I left you at Radford, and I worried for you. We were thankful that you and Chris were together and knew you would be all right. And I was particularly astounded at how focused and regimented you were in your studies at university. I say this because of how you seem to regard school again in grades K through 12. But you excelled in your studies. You went out and grabbed your nursing career with high honors, and we were so pleased for you. But Callie, I also remember becoming a nurse was not really a surprise to me, because I mostly remember how even as a young girl, you constantly gravitated to young babies and children and wanted to bond with them and take care of them. So it was only natural that you became a nurse, and lo and behold, you're in the mother baby unit, continuing to nurture and take care of young children. I can only say how much I look forward to you being a mother of your own children, or not.
Soon.
It's up to you.
Soon.
So on this day, I say to you, please remember your mom and I will always love you and support you. And we wish you continued happiness as you and Chris continue your journey together. Which brings me to you, Chris. I guess I'm supposed to say how happy I am to welcome you into our family. That you're a wonderful man, and that we know you will make Callie very happy. But you've been on the scene for the last 10 years. And here's what I know about you already. And I call this section, Chris, I Know. Chris, I know you adore Callie and you love her with all your heart. I've seen you sing to her in front of other people, Bye Bye Miss American Pie. Hopefully we'll get a rendition tonight. By the fire, at the barbecue. What a nice touch. But I was impressed and happy that Callie has found a man that will sing to her. Chris, I know you're a good man and with a great disposition, as I've seen how you and Callie feed off of each other to calm her if she's stressed, and vice versa. You use humor effectively with Callie. You're not afraid to laugh, which brings happiness into your relationship. To that end, I have seen you when you are stressed and can say, if that's the worst it gets, then I know you will continue to treat Callie with love and respect. Chris, I know you are generous with your time and other things. You're willing to help people at the drop of a hat. Personally, I was grateful when you came over a couple of weekends in a row and helped me cut up a big tree that fell in our yard. That was tough for one person, and maybe even a little dangerous. When that one log just about took out the ladder when I was standing on it with the chainsaw. But you came back. But what I remember the most about it is we took numerous breaks and had a lot of time to chat, which I fully enjoyed. And Chris, I know over the last 10 years, I've gotten to know you personally a lot better, your mind, some of your ambitions, and I know you to be a good man. But mostly I can see how you care for Callie and she for you, so you are both fortunate to have found each other. So to summarize and maybe get this thing going, as you continue a relationship, continue to cherish your love for each other, communicate openly and honestly, put each other first, and most importantly, continue to build a strong relationship, all the while having some fun along the way. With this marriage, you are signifying to everyone that you want to continue your journey together for many years to come. So I'll ask you guys to raise a glass to Callie and Chris. Your love for each other only grows stronger over time, and may your home be filled with laughter and joy, and may you always cherish the special bond that you share. Cheers, to everybody. To you.
Cheers.
Well, once you take a sip, let's go ahead and put our hands together for Sandy Burke.